everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning. Today I have December dash number 16, which I call the halfway stretch. So I've just got 12 minutes of dynamic stretching, get some energy flowing, lengthen those muscles, circulation going, just should feel good and get you prepped for taking on the second half of this month. So today all I'm using is a stretch stick. I don't really know the proper term for this, but broom handle, mop handle, take the end off your Swiffer, use your kid's microphone stand. I've got this stretch stick that was made for stretching, so just something lightweight that you can use to help you stretch out and keep good form. So I will be using that, but I'm going to start on the ground on my stomach. So coming all the way to the ground. All right. I'm going to put my hands right underneath my shoulders. I'm tucking my pubic bone down so it's pushing against the ground. I'm pulling my shoulder blades down and back. And I'm just pressing into this cobra movement. Back down. So I'll go through each movement a few times. Move through your range of motion in ways that feel good to you. So shift around in the hold, stay in it as long as you want, come out of it when you want. Just keep that belly button engaged, pushing your pubic bone down. Good. And then from here, let's extend our hands out and let's lift everything up. And just squeeze for a moment, shoulder blades down and back, belly button in. Nice work. Okay, so from here, I'm going to go into a child's pose and really extend my hands out. So my big toes are touching, my heels are apart. And I'm just focusing on feeling that stretch through my lats, the underside of my shoulder, and I'm just relaxing into that. And then from here, I'm going to take my left hand and just bring it to the back of my shoulder if I can, giving some extra pressure, kind of pushing into the ground with this elbow. Get an extra stretch through there, make it a little more dynamic. And I'm going to release that. Bring my right hand, rotate the palm, try to touch my back, and then try to push my elbow down into the ground to create more of a stretch using my active muscles. Nice work. And then I'm going to release that. I'm going to walk in over to the side, trying to keep my hips straight, just really get a stretch through the side body. I'm going to walk it across. You might notice one side seems like you can't move as far as the other side, or things are tighter. And I'm going to do that one more time on each side because that just feels amazing. And to center. Walk it back to the other side. Ooh. Nice job. Okay, now from here I'm going to get into my quadruped position. So wrists underneath shoulders. Don't let them be too wide or too far out. Just kind of check yourself, really make sure they're underneath you, and then knees underneath your hips. And we can't leave out our cows and our cats. So during your cow, let your tailbone lift up, arch that back, pull the shoulder blades down and back and stretch through your chest. And then as you cat, push against the ground with your palms, push those shoulder blades apart and squeeze your belly button in, even squeezing those pelvic floor muscles. Squeezing the hips in, and then let it come back down. Do our cow, stretch it all out. Now from here, I want you to push to the floor for cat, but think about your upper back going first, one vertebra at a time, all the way down to your tailbone. Give that a good push, good squeeze across the shoulder blades. And then drop your tailbone, trying to move your spine from the bottom up one at a time as you lower back down. Stretch through the chest. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to come into this tall kneeling position. I'm going to tuck my toes so I can get a little extra stretch through my feet. And I'm just going to sit back for a moment, stretching the bottoms of my feet out. I'm going to hold this stick right at shoulder height. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it straight back towards me, but I'm not going to bend my elbows. I'm just squeezing my shoulder blades. And then I'm pushing out, stretching across my shoulder blades. And back. Now if your toes or your feet start to get tired, just untuck them. And forward, just getting those shoulder blades moving. Working on some retraction and protraction, just getting good control of that scapular movement. Beautiful. And then from here, I'm going to tall sit, and I'm just going to stretch back in through those hip flexors and squeeze back to the top. So tuck your tailbone, lean back, squeeze back to the top. Keep your core engaged. Should feel a bit of a stretch across your hip flexors, fronts of the hips there. Getting some strength in. Do a couple more of these. And one more. Good. All right. So from here, I'm going to take a step up so that I'm in this kind of staggered tall kneeling position. I'm going to put my bar behind my shoulders, shoulder blades down and back, nice tall spine. I'm just going to rotate towards my leg that's forward. So we've got hips facing forward, our left knee over our left ankle, and we're rotating our entire body. So I'm using that stick to make sure that my shoulders go with the rest of my torso. Should feel a stretch to that hip flexor because your hips are facing forward. Nice stretch through the spine. Good, and I'm going to release that. And I'm going to switch feet. So, right knee over right ankle, pressing down through the ground, stabilizing through my hips, squeezing in, have my core engaged. I'm going to put my stick behind my shoulders and rotate. Ooh, definitely tighter on this side. So we're getting an element of balance. Come out of that if you need to. Go back in it for a moment. Nice work. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop that. And I'm going to come into a high lunge. So I'm going to keep that right foot forward for now. I'm going to drop my left hand and I'm going to open up to my right side, keeping the knee over the ankle, keeping the hips facing down, pushing up through my left knee to keep that leg nice and engaged. Good, I'm going to bring that down, step it back to plank, step that left foot up. So we've got the knee over the ankle, my right hand is down, I'm opening up to my left side, but I'm trying not to rotate too much, trying to keep that hip straight back and down, lifting up the back of my right knee towards the ceiling. I'm going to put that down, I'm going to step to plank, and then I'm going to walk it back to soft knees, and I'm just going to kind of hang ragdoll for a moment. And sway back and forth. Beautiful. Okay, hands are coming to my hips, coming up with a long spine. Okay, so from here, let's get into some shoulders. I'm going to grab my stick. My arms are wide, so this is kind of where I'm talking about feeling the stretch for what works for you. I'm just opening up. My ribs are in, they're not flaring out. Then my tailbone is tucked, my belly button's pulled in. I'm just going to where I feel that great stretch in my shoulders and my chest. I'm gonna bring it back down, reset my shoulder blades, reset my abdomen and my pelvic bones to tuck in. Reaching back up. Nice stretch. And then I'll back off that and I'm just gonna do a side body stretch. So I'm making sure I'm not rotating forward or rotating back. I'm pretending like I have a wall right behind me. And up and over. Nice work. Okay, from here, I'm going to have a stance where my feet are hip width, soft knees, belly button in, and I'm just gonna hinge forward, pushing my knees back until I feel that stretch in my hamstrings. And if my knees are straight, I'm gonna squeeze my quads. Just get that nice low back hamstring stretch. And I'm gonna roll up one vertebra at a time. Beautiful. And then from here, we're gonna take one step forward, one step back, kind of into this triangle pose. Same thing, hips facing forward, belly button in, hinge at my hips, leaning forward. Back up, switching that. Hips facing forward. I'm gonna hinge, long spine, just getting that nice hamstring stretch. Back up, I'm gonna drop that, come back up. All right, and now I'm gonna move into a little bit of cervical before we finish. So I'm gonna take my left ear, drop it straight down to my shoulder. Put my left hand on top of my head, but no, I'm not pulling, I'm just giving some overpressure. And my right hand is gonna flex at my wrist, kind of extend out to the right. Feel that stretch from my fingertips all the way up. And then I'll reverse that. So right ear straight to your shoulder. Don't rotate up or down. A little bit of overpressure. Left hand out and flexed. Nice stretch. And then release that. And the last thing I'm going to do are some cervical spine circles. So I'm going to tuck my chin down. I'm going to rotate along my collarbone to my shoulder. And then I'm going to paint a big circle with the tip of my chin. Nice and easy. All the way over to my other shoulder. Scrape it across my collarbone to that tucked position. I'm going to do one more in the opposite direction. So just nice, controlled movement. Not a lot of tension, no pain with the neck. Just a good way to open up those vertebrae. Allow some space in there, some circulation. Good. As we're looking down, it's good to stretch those suckers out. All right, I hope you feel a little limbered up, ready to tackle the rest of the month. And I thank you for joining me, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Thank you.